Yeah, somebody who is endlessly fascinated with audiences and how they see and interpret things. This YouTube experience has been amazing. That second video I made about President Biden's debate performance hit a totally different audience, and they were right to be like, wow, you're condescending, you're terrible, you're stupid, you're horrible, because I mistakenly thought the algorithm would show those first people the second video. But some people went back and looked at it. And, they made their own conclusions. But I appreciate you being here, watching this, leaving comments. I trade in disagreement. I'm a sophist. That's a whole separate video. But in this video, I wanted to try some new things to try to clear up the misconceptions about my position and the arguments I'm making that are all over the place in the video. So the problem is with me as a rhetorician. You don't really blame your audience. Problem's with me, the way I'm phrasing it out. So my position is that we should have different kinds of discourse for different kinds of discourses. Now, I'll make a separate short video about what discourse means and what a discourse is. If you want me to, I'll make a video about anything that you like or dislike about what I've said on this channel. Happy to do it. But in this one, I just want to outline what I think is the value of having political debates and how they should be looked at. A very simple model of political debating and how it should be looked at. So let's take a look at this visual aid. 3 steps that we would look at in any political debate. We want to try to cut through the value of debate. As anybody who's been in high school debate or collegiate debate can tell you, the value of debate is to try to cut through our biases about how people look and sound and what we feel and think about them outside of the debate. We want to look at the claims being made in the debate. And that's one of the reasons presidential debates are so hard to make sense of, because there's not a big topic. There's not like side obligations. There's lots of problems with it. I have other videos about that if you want to look at that, or I can make one really quick, but I want to try to keep this short. So I'm going to try not to go off on a tangent. Part of the problem of constantly teaching university classes is you can just kind of talk about whatever you want, go off on weird tangents about things that pop in your head. Sometimes it's valuable, sometimes it's not. But for YouTube, you could be anybody from anywhere in the world with any kind of reading background, any kind of education, any kind of bias. So very tough audience to meet. So I'm going to try this. This is my grand experiment. So 3 things that we would look for, or that I would hope that we would look for in a political or presidential debate or any kind of public debate about policy or what to do or what to vote for. Evidence, which is generally support, reasoning, and which is interpretation or explanation, and claim, which is the argument. Usually that's what we talk about. Your argument is stupid. Your argument is wrong. We usually only focus on the claim. Now, for a lot of you out there, you realize this is based on a number of different argument theories and different things that I don't really want to get into too much of the detail, but you can kind of see where I'm coming from, I think. A little bit of different theorists in there. But this is really all I really want. And this is what I was so upset with the media about. When I say that the media has a democratic bias, I don't mean the Democratic Party. I mean against democracy. They do not want to empower us. Nobody in our government, in our system, wants us empowered to think for ourselves. Nobody wants that. Why? There's too much at stake. Capitalism, big money, heavy, heavy money, millions of dollars at stake in us tuning in to watch our favorite show and feel good because they have predicted how we think about it. There's very little money in a capitalist media system for giving us the tools to make up our own mind. All right, so first, evidence. What I mean by evidence or support is very loose. Publicly accessible data, information, statements, events. This is the most public part of making your argument. This is where you invite people in to share in your view. Here's what I'm looking at. Here it is. Here's the link. Here's the video clip. Here's what we all saw and experienced. Reasoning, interpretation, explanation. I saw these events like you did. I read this data like you did. I saw this information like you did. Here's what I think it means. Or here's what it means. Notice the rhetorical difference there. I can put myself in it. I can take myself out of it. Advantages and disadvantages to each way. It's a rhetorical effect. Here's what this means. Or here's how I see it meaning. And that's very important for how you phrase your arguments. And politicians will do that too in political debates. It's a very, very nice trick. And how these things should be interpreted is more of a normative claim. Well, people are interpreting it this way, but I think it should be this other way. like contrary to the way things are going. And that's what I was trying to do with interpretations of Biden's performance and missing it, apparently. Maybe I should try again. And then the claim, what is true, good, or best? What we should all think is true, good, or best, or factual. That could be in there too. Any synonym you want. And so that's the part of the argument that we pay the most attention to. We say, oh, you're wrong, or you're stupid for believing that, or whatever. But this is the part that is like the most visible. And a lot of times our immediate response is to be like, what an idiot. Make an ad hominem, like many of you did in the comments. What an idiot. He's stupid. He's uneducated. He thinks he's educated. He's not. These are all classical ad hominems. The thing that we would want to do with this model is say, well, this argument's invitational. It's an invitation to take this perspective. You can say, no, thank you. Here's why I don't want it. It's revelatory. You could say, wow, look at how that guy puts thoughts together. There's something wrong with how he or she or they puts thinking together, or reasons. And that's another place where you can attack an argument or say, or you can say, wow, that was really good. Even though I disagree with the claim, look at how they're putting thoughts together. That's really smart. I like the way that they're working through that difficult data or that interesting testimony that we heard. And it's equitable. In a presidential debate like we saw with Trump and Biden, this is equitable. Both sides can be judged the same way based on how well these things connect. Is the evidence publicly accessible? Is it questionable in some way? That's one way you can critique the reasoning. Okay, that evidence looks pretty good, but why in the world would they think that based on that? And then the claim, this is what they want us to. So you see it moves from very public to semi-public to private. And I think that's an interesting way to think about argumentative claims. Extremely public, semi-public to private. So at the final thing, you're being invited to share somebody's mind. What do you think about this model? This is the model that I'm hoping that in a democracy we could accept instead of what happened in the debate from hell, as people are calling it now, the CNN debate, which I've made a couple of videos about that people don't really seem to like. In that, we just ended up using the debate to say the same things we're saying about the campaign the whole time. Biden is too old. He has dementia. He has cognitive impairment. He can't be president. Okay, that's a fine argument. You can make that argument. All I'm saying is a debate should try to pierce through these kind of things and say, who did the best job of putting it together? Somebody who's cognitively impaired will also fail this rubric. Not to worry. It's not a trick. Nothing tricky here. Also, it might allow kind of a more equitable treatment between how we talk about Donald Trump's arguments in the debate, which no one has said anything about, and Joe Biden's arguments in the debate, which no one has said anything about. People are focusing on his flubs, his mistakes. I mean, it's fine if you want to go that way, but I'm just saying the debate should be evaluated on different kinds of criteria because it's a debate. It's a different kind of discourse, and we shouldn't really have them if they aren't going to provide some new dimension to our ability to decide as members of a democracy of who we think should be president.